welcome to Let's Talk Over Cocktails with Carly.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, of course, you guys know we're doing something a little different tonight, and it's a variety style. Okay? So we have our girl, Miss Aisha, that joined the show. Hey.
I got some questions for you, Miss.
So this is a Let's Talk kind of questionnaire. What's on your mind? What's not on your mind? What you're sick of? All that fun stuff. So without further ado, what's on your mind, friend?
What's on my mind? Well, I want to be nosy. So you're like a personality. You've been a personality forever since I've known you. But there's one thing I never knew about you.
What is?
And I want to know.
Wait a minute. Are we really?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, friend. Go ahead. What is it?
So it's a hard question. I want you to think about it.
All right. I'm going to be honest with everybody, okay? Because we got to line up, so I'm going to be honest.
Be 100% honest. And the thing is, don't pick, when I ask you this question, do not pick someone for aesthetics. Be very honest, okay?
Who would be aesthetics?
All right. Now, ready?
All right. You know we friends, so we're going to have to deal with this later if it's... Okay. What is it?
So, if you were to do a biopic, who would you choose to play you and why?
Oh my God, that is such a great question. I would choose, oh my God. So these questions are very like, I didn't know you were gonna ask me that. So first thought, I will say, I don't know why, but Rudy Huxtable.
Keisha Knight Pulliam?
Yeah.
Really?
I would.
Why?
Because I think she's an understated actress. I think she's really animated, and I think that we have a little bit, like, kind of have some similarities. But I think she's articulate. I think she's awesome. I think she's educated. I think she's great. She's a melanated sister.
And she is a good actress, though.
She's a great actress.
She's very underrated. Like,
yes.
I think they just kind of like kicked her to the curb because she was a child star and not really
child
seeing
star.
her as a real adult actress.
Yes.
Okay, I feel that. So
far, that's what I come up. Of course, later tonight while I'm in the bed, I'm gonna be like, gosh damn it, I should have said J-Lo. Like, so
okay.
Yeah. So that's,
I like that answer.
Right?
Yeah, I think I like that one.
So I have a question for you.
No. This was your turn.
So if you were an artist, what artist would you kind of mirror? What would be the artist that you would probably say that you would favor? Not in terms of looks per se, but style.
You mean a thespian, like an actress?
Or a musician?
A musician. Dang, I think it's J-Lo.
Don't be ruled by the fuck.
Yeah, I think it would be J-Lo. But in terms of actresses,
yes.
Like my girl is Taraji P. Henson. Like I would totally, she's silly, she's fun, she's serious. Like she has all of the personalities.
I don't like when people take themselves too seriously. So
right.
She doesn't. But she also invokes this level of like maturity and fun and just she's an it girl.
She knows how to turn it off and on.
She does very well.
Yeah, I like that. But this wasn't supposed to be about me, Carly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, friend. Go ahead. Let's see. Shout out to Casamigos.
But that was good. I like that. So let me just piggyback off of that one. Mm-hmm. So what movie or what show did Rudy play in that... No, you can't.
I would say renditions of The Cosby Show. That's the only thing I can... And then she had a couple like small... movies that she did in which I watched those when I was young. I'm not a humongous, follow every single thing that she does, but I do respect her as an actress. And I follow her on Instagram, and I really like the fact that she lives on a farm and she's married. She's got this blended family. She just had a baby. It's poster child.
Okay.
Over the last couple years.
Last time I saw her, she was on the Tyler Perry show. She was strung out. Something happened.
Trav, that was a movie.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we this way?
She was in role.
I feel like that's on real life.
No, she was in role play. She was playing a role.
She was playing a role.
No, that was good.
Shout out to Trav in the back, everyone. Shout out to the audience in the back.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. And you know what? I think I could see her playing Carly Martin.
You could.
Yes, I could.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Good.
So
good answer.
I love that. I love that. So who could you see me as in terms of like an R&B artist? Like what type of R&B artist or musician do you think I would be?
That's a hard question for me because I don't even listen to.
Did somebody say SZA? Who said SZA?
I heard it too. Somebody said SZA. I don't even listen to R&B, so I don't even know who.
I feel like I would be this
Who?
eclectic type of artist.
Like?
That's mixed with a little bit of Beyonce. Because I'm going to tell you, God knew what he did when he said, I'm not giving you a voice. Because if I give you a voice, you
That
are
would've
going to
been
be
it.
out here cutting up, jumping from this, doing all of that. So when I see Beyonce, I love the fact that she can channel it. I really respect her as an artist, you know, and I'm just like, she pushes the limits. And I know that if I were an artist or an actress, I would push the limits.
Yeah.
Because I push my team's limits and they be like,
Yeah, we saw you doing it.
yeah, well, shout out to my team. I love y'all so much.
Well, good. Thank you for asking my very hard question.
Yes.
I like it. I like your answer.
Yes. So, Miss Tynesha, welcome to the show.
Hey, Miss Carly.
How are you enjoying yourself?
I'm enjoying myself. I'm excited. I love
Yes.
coming on your show. It's going to be a
I
time.
love that.
Yes.
So, Miss Tynesha is one of my creative friends. We have a group chat and we talk about all kinds of stuff. And she's a part of Change the Narrative, okay? We'll get into that. But I want to know about, first off, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I've seen you on Instagram in the gym,
Yes,
working
ma'am.
out.
Yes.
I'm like, damn, I need to get in the gym. Well, I'll go eat that lemon cake.
Let me know when you're ready.
Right,
I got
but
you.
I love it. I love your progress, so I'm very proud of you. I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
So I want to know, because as you know, we're doing something a little different tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What's on your mind? What you want to talk about? What's on your gripe? What's tickling your fancy? What's exciting? What you want to talk about?
Well, you know, we're out here in Atlanta,
All day.
and everybody talks about how it's a struggle to date in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out the best way to tackle this. So my question for you is, when you're dating, should you date multiple people at once or focus on one person?
Oh my God, friend. So I'm going to tell you guys, I struggle with this, okay? We got some folks front and center, okay? So I struggle with this, okay? Because I'm a one at a time dater type person. Like if I'm kissing you, I just want to be kissing you. I don't want you kissing a whole bunch of other people. I just want to be kissing you. And I want us to get to know each other like from a full throttle, like 100%. I feel like when you add too many people in the equation when dating, it murkies it up. And so you start to compare. Like, well, she's taller or she's smaller or she is lighter complected or darn, I like this and I like that. Well, this one has ass, but this one has titties. And then it's convoluted and it's messed up. So my thing is, I definitely, last week, if you would have asked me, I would have said I think you should date one at a time. But this week, I think that you should probably have at least two. That you're trying to figure out who is the best candidate. Don't go date 2, 7, and 10, okay? Because that's too much. You out here being for the
Date
streets.
what you can handle.
Right, but I do believe that you should narrow it down to 2 people and you should see. And I don't think that you should be sexually active until you decide that this is the person I truly want to try with.
Okay, so I have a couple thoughts on that. So I agree. I'm a one at a time dater, but I realize here in Atlanta that doesn't work.
Right.
Like you were saying, I think people have too many options,
Yeah.
and people have this facade of their lifestyle, right?
Yes.
So like they're going with full face on, so you just think there's a bunch of beautiful options out there because of the
Yeah.
exterior, right?
Right.
So I think that I do need to adjust that. It's hard, but I'm gonna
It
try
is
to
hard.
adjust. But the sex thing. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Because I'm not trying to be out here busting it open for all these people. So the question is, though, let's say I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have sex with anybody.
Okay.
But you're dating men and you know they're having sex with other women. Does that bother you?
It does, because it makes me feel like, why you just can't have control? Like, are you intentionally dating? Because I feel like a man that's intentionally dating is a man. Okay, first off, we don't need to be passing the mic. They are going crazy in the back.
Men into the group chat. Men into the group chat, please.
So I do believe if you are dating with intention, you are holding your temple. Okay, you're holding off and you're pursuing someone actively. And if it goes there, it doesn't. If it doesn't, then go be a hoe. Go have sex. But I think you should be able to have some sort of sexual self-control while you're trying to pursue someone.
So I agree. You know I agree.
Yes,
okay,
I know
I agree. Okay, but I don't know if men operate that way.
I don't
And so
think
what
they
I'm
do.
trying to figure out is if it's realistic for us to expect that, or if we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure.
If you're pursuing me actively and I'm pursuing you and I'm not having sex with other people, I truly believe that this is a cadence that we're creating. If you're gonna be having sex with other people, then go date somebody else that's okay with that. But I want a man that's preserving himself just like I'm preserving myself until the time is right. There's a certain level of respect. And so I'm respecting his boundaries and he's respecting mine. We both obviously are going to want each other, but we're trying to be like, if we want to just have sex, I truly believe that it's going to disrupt the process of getting to know each other.
Okay.
So I do believe that you should wait. I think that, look, it take me 30 days or less to know if I want to deal with somebody or not.
Okay, so my spin-off question. I won't ask you specifically what I was going to say, but do you have a minimum for how long they have to wait for sex?
So I think it's a vibe. I used to be the type of woman to say, "Oh no, he's got to wait this amount of time." But
You was
as
a
I
90-day
got,
girl?
don't judge me. Yes,
Okay.
and it was the best 90-day wait. No, so but nowadays it's a vibe. I don't catch a vibe with everyone.
Right.
So if I catch a vibe with you and then it goes to intimacy, that's really serious, and it rarely ever gets there.
Intimacy, you mean sex?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I don't want you to give me any sexual like pleasure either until we're both ready to do that, because then I'm gonna feel like, damn, you a munch, because you're like that, like this is what you do. You just wanted to, you okay with this, and you want to go home? Like, let us equally be able to please each other when the time is right. What I want us to have an understanding that we are which we need to cover what that means.
Right.
Because intentional means that what are you looking for? Are we looking for the same things?
And are your actions in accordance with
Matching those things. And then if it checks out that yes, I am looking for a life partner, I'm looking for marriage, then you're going to position yourself and you're going to manage the relationship as such. Welcome to the show, Toksogu.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's always a good time talking with you, Carl.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's always good to see you. You look really nice tonight.
Thank
I
you.
like your outfit. It's
So
real
how
nice.
come I'm not on the creative group chat?
All right, buddy. Listen.
That's my first question is how come I'm not on the creative group
We're
chat?
going to have to get you on some sort of creative group chat. We'll let
But
you
not
know.
that one?
No, that's changed the narrative. It's closed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's
So
okay.
there's nobody that is not part of Change the Narrative that's on there?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
I'll
yes.
take that.
Okay. So we're here. Of course, we're doing a little something different tonight.
Yeah, I like it. It's a
You
nice
like
vibe.
it? It looks
yeah.
good. You like the vibe?
It's a good vibe. It's a good
Smell
vibe.
this candle. Tell me what you think about it. That's from Trav in the Back's collection.
Oh, that's
Protect
good.
your. Yes.
What is this? Oh,
Yes.
take care of your
soul.
Yeah.
Take care of your soul. Show everybody
Yeah.
Take care of your soul.
Yeah, I get a couple of these.
You like the? Oh, look at you, Trav. You're making all the money on with the take care of your soul. All right, so
What's that one?
See
You
discount
want-
code, Toksogu.
you want to smell this?
Okay, perfect.
Probably already be taken.
Hey,
Okay,
you like
this
that
one's
one?
nice, too.
You like that one?
I got you.
That's a part of the new collection, Golden Mauve, coming soon, rebranded. You
Yeah,
like?
got you.
You like that? I brought you some of these to your house. I don't know if you remember because you be liking them other candles.
Shake.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is
So,
what it is.
what you got to talk about tonight? What you want to talk about? What's on your mind? What's irritating?
My-
What's frustrating? What's exciting? Tell me about it.
Mine is to address this apparent gender war that there is between men and women
Okay, let's talk
online
about it.
and just what's going on. I mean, how do we just? I mean, do each side have to like address terms and we come to a ceasefire or what's?
Can we
what's
do
going
that
on?
today?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what's the biggest rift that you have with it?
It's just going on too long and people just keep talking, but
You know what it
nobody's
feels
coming
like?
up to solutions.
I would agree with you. It feels like men are frustrated with women because women have elevated and men cannot control them in the same ways that they used to be able to control them.
Wow.
I know. You guys love it in the back.
See, but I think that's part of the issue is that, and that's how, let's say, women think about it, because
Right.
men didn't used to control women. It's just that men used to provide for women.
Okay.
And part of somebody providing, protecting, and taking care of you
Yes.
might feel like it's control, but a lot of
Okay.
times it's for your own benefit. It's similar to how it was with our parents, where
So that's fair.
you know-
But I think the problem is that men are not providing like they used to. I feel like there's a lot of tricking, a lot of throwing money, a lot of, veneers of having it but not really having it. And I feel as though what's happened is women have gotten very frustrated and they don't want to be toyed with. So they went to school, they got their own, they've established themselves, and men are trying the same kind of tricks that they used to try, and women, it's not really working. But to your point, the flip side of that is women are not dealing with the BS anymore, but we're being alone in the process because we're like, well, we don't want to deal with this, but I'd rather be alone because I'm not trying to deal with that. You're not taking care of home. You out here want to play like you got it. You really don't. You don't know how to treat me. So I'm gonna go get educated.
But are women really alone?
Some of us are alone.
I doubt that.
Listen,
Every woman has some guy trying to talk to
So
her.
this is true.
That she's slightly entertaining, even if there's no. Let's say it doesn't get to the sexual level.
I
Let's
think
say it
that's
doesn't get to the
fair.
relationship. There's always
because you
something.
want to
So
know
they're
why?
never alone.
Because I truly believe, but to a certain degree. So a person can be taken out on dates, and they can have company, but when they're in their bed alone, that's alone. When they're waking up, that's alone. When you're going through life by yourself, that's alone. Who in the back is tired?
Yeah.
I might have a different perspective.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
fair.
We'd love to hear
I
it.
think that the gender war thing stems from a lack of accountability on both sides. Okay.
Fair.
Because I think that we have these negative experiences because we're picking people who mirror something in us, right?
Okay.
So I could be a woman and I'm like, oh my God, none of these men want to commit. They're emotionally unavailable. For
Yeah.
example, a part of me is probably emotionally unavailable, and that's why I'm attracting them. But it's easier for me to point the finger at the other person.
Okay.
And then I go online and I'm saying all these things, and I think that if you can really sit down and reflect on the things that you've done, it would be more of an internal correction versus me being like, oh, I hate everybody, right? So
Okay.
I've had some messed up experiences, but it's not to the point where I'm like, oh my God, all men suck.
Yeah.
Like, I probably sucked in some situations too, and I could have done better. And so I
Okay.
think people just need to do more reflection.
Yes.
They need to take a step back from dating,
Yeah.
do some healing. And I think that we
I
can
would
have
agree.
these conversations from more of a level-headed perspective.
I would agree
Yeah,
with
see,
that.
yeah,
Do you
that's-
feel like you're a healed man?
Of course, I'm always healed.
Case in point. So I
Case in
think
point,
that
what-
I think that what happens is everybody feels like they're healed and they don't have issues. So they go. What happens is they go out in the dating arena with these issues, and they infect everybody. Excuse me, I was a little excited about that. They infect everybody with these traumas,
Okay.
and so what happens is, to Tynesha's point, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm attracting this type of energy because I haven't done my shadow work, or maybe it's a test to the shadow work that I have done to see if I'm still going to fall into those same issues and cycles. So I think what it is, to Tynesha's point, I definitely think that it's cycles that have to be broken within yourself in order for you to be good for somebody else. You have to be able to be comfortable with yourself and be content alone and grow yourself financially, emotionally, spiritually before you can dip yourself and be into a relationship. Period.
That's fair.
The problem is so many people are not there. They're fake woke. I said it, fake woke. You heard it. I did. I said it. And they get into these relationships. I do all this cleansing and I'm so this, I'm so that, but you're fucked up inside still. Welcome, 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 Miss Nika.
Thank
or
you.
the Vaguru.
Yes. The Vaguru.
The Vaguru. So welcome to the show. You know that we're doing something a little fun tonight.
I do know.
So, tell me this. What is tickling your fancy, all on your mind at night, on your Instagram feed? What is, talk to me. Like, what's going on? Oh, I like that color.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So I think that
What's
it's
going
more
on?
appropriate to say welcome back because I've been here before and
Yes.
we had an amazing interview.
Yes.
If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It was amazing.
It was.
But I think that this topic is really important for us to understand when
Yes.
it comes to our minds because mental health is such a huge issue right now. And so that's not something that we're talking about enough. And so, I'm all about health and wellness. So it's super important to bring that to the forefront so people can start being mindful of their minds. So
100%.
yeah.
So I love that. I definitely think that we should discuss mental health, but I also think that there's a separatism and there's something that we also need to discuss with mental health. I think a lot of people hide behind mental health and they're just acting bad, okay? And saying, kind of like the Carly, what's her name? Carly chick that went disappearing. Carly Russell, right? So a lot of people are saying on social media, oh, it's mental illness. Oh, she's got issues. Like, we need to pray for her. Yes, we need to pray for her, as we need to pray for a lot of people. However, that was not, in my opinion, a mental illness issue.
Right.
That was acting bad.
Got it.
Okay? So I do believe that there needs to be a defined line in the culture, in our culture, and in social media culture, where people understand that there's a difference between mental illness, documented mental illness, and acting bad. And we need to separate it. And there needs to be separatism there. So mental illness looks like what?
So when I say mental illness, I don't mean a diagnosis and I don't mean an excuse to act bad. I'm
Right.
talking about having awareness of the way that your mind works.
Okay.
So I'm kind of going in a different direction with it.
Okay.
So every time we do something or take in information or see something or participate in an activity, our minds change. Okay. So the more information that you put into you, whatever that looks like, that is a diet, right?
Okay.
It changes your mind. So our minds are changing all the time. The people that are going to watch this interview between you and I,
Yeah.
after I say what I'm saying, their minds are going to start changing. So that's how powerful influence is. So we need to just be aware of the information that we're taking in. But this topic that I want to talk about is sitting with yourself and kind of sacrificing what you want to get what is best for you or what you deserve.
Okay. So mental awareness.
Yeah.
Because I think that mental illness thing is
Well, I
like,
said mental health.
you said mental health. Okay.
Mental health.
So mental health, mental awareness. So what does that look like for the culture? Like, what's your thought process with that?
So it's about instant gratification. And so I think that we can all recognize that it's something that's promoted and expected because we've got Instacart, we've got Instagram, we've got,
Right.
Insta photo. Everything has to be
Right.
instant.
Yes.
Right? But we all know that anything from nature doesn't happen instantly.
Right.
Right? It grows and it takes time. So that makes it genuine and authentic. And that's not the lives that we're living, and that's not the lives that we're creating for ourselves. So for me right now, like I'm thinking about relationships, which is a topic everybody's always like, oh, I want to hear about
Of
relationships,
course.
right?
Yeah.
But if you don't sit with yourself to actually figure out what it is that is best for you, because you want that instant gratification of
Right.
not being alone, or the instant gratification of having sex, or the instant gratification of having affirmation, or a partner, or kisses and hugs and sex and all of those things,
Right.
then you may miss out on what's authentically the best for you because you didn't wait.
So why do you think people are living in such an instant gratification space in society?
Because that's what's promoted the most. It's in our face all the time, and like I said, when you take in information, your brain changes. So every time you engage in an activity and you get an instant result, now your brain is creating pathways for that expectation of something to happen instantly for you.
Okay, so how does one decide this is not what I'm going to go rogue? Because essentially if everybody's doing it, it's the norm, right?
Right.
So how does one go rogue and decide, you know what? I don't want to be just like everybody else. I want to go ahead and do what I want to do. I want to live for myself. What recommendation or what do you think about that?
Well, what do you mean exactly? Like live for yourself?
So you're saying that people, what they're doing is they're seeing something that's being fed to them. So they're kind of walking as, in a line, kind of creating and mimicking a certain type of behavior, right?
Well, in a
sense.
sense.
Okay, so how does one decide, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a part of the social, instant type of lifestyle. I want to do something a little different. So tell me what that would look like. How would a person decide out of the whole mirroring of what everybody in society is doing with Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instacart, all that fun stuff, that Insta world? How does one decide, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to go rogue, right? And I want to create a life for myself. What does that look like? What's the thought process within your recommendations?
Well, I don't give any recommendations on anything mental health because, it's out of my scope of practice. I'm not qualified. I'm not a doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist. But what I will say is that it's just deciding that you no longer want to be sad. You no longer want to continuously date person after person after person. You want to feel better inside. You want to feel
Right.
better in your mind. We all can look gorgeous. I think that, we both look very beautiful tonight. We see beautiful women all the time. You spoke about that earlier. But most of us are sad.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but it's not up to me to decide or figure out while everybody else is sad. I'm only responsible for myself.
But what's your
So-
perception? So we're speaking about it. So what's your perception of why do you think, and having conversation, why do you think so many people are sad?
I think a lot of people are sad because they don't have what they are supposed to have when it comes to who they are. Like I said, like deciding that you're going to sacrifice your comfortability to have what's best for you.
Right.
Maybe not what everybody else has, maybe not what everybody is driving or where they work or what they look like, but actually taking the time to figure out what's best for you.
Right.
So really taking the road less traveled. That's a recommendation.
Yeah.
That's a book. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to read it, like, it's a great book.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that we have to just be mindful of like the movement, that the lifestyle is supposed to happen instantly when it's not. So instead of ordering Instacart, like, get in your car and go to the store and actually shop. You know, instead of jumping on a dating app, actually just authentically, organically meet somebody just by
Right.
living your life day to day. Because
So-
if you don't, like I'm saying earlier, the more that we do things with the expectation of an instant result, your brain is going to get stronger
Okay.
and resistant anything that's not happening for you instantly.
Okay. Yes.
So we do agree with that. I think there's a couple of questions back here, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask you.
Yes.
So, yes, I do believe that through trials and tribulations, our brain do grow stronger and also be able to, handle different things, right? But I guess the question I'm asking is, there's a couple of questions. Are you saying that people are sacrificing their future for instant gratification, or are you also saying that there are certain people that don't believe that they can bargain with life? They don't believe that if they trade off today, they're going to be alive tomorrow to live for the better tomorrow, that they don't even think is guaranteed, so that's why they live for today. And I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to,
Yeah.
what side of the fence is.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it's more likely that you're going to get something of lesser quality if it's instant.
Why do you believe that?
Psychology today.
Okay. So
I
I-
believe that depends on what you're
yeah.
told, though.
Yeah,
Because,
and it does. So
I mean,
I
had some
was talking about
instances that have been awesome. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so
Yeah.
I started with relationships, right?
Right.
But we could talk about what's very popular now, like we all know about cosmetic surgery. I'm actually in the industry of cosmetic surgery, so I know a lot about it. And I know that it's not for everybody, but a lot of people want it, even if it's not for them. So me sitting in the seat of telling you, this is not appropriate for you, and here's why. So you go to somewhere else to try to see if they will let you get it done.
Are
you know?
so okay? So being that's very interesting. So are you allowed to tell someone that this isn't good for them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So whenever
Oh.
you go to get a consultation for
Mm-hmm.
cosmetic surgery, it's the job of the consultant to let you know if you're a candidate
Right.
or not. And there's a lot of times when people aren't, and they would just hop around from place to place to find somebody that will accept them.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if they meet the certain requirements, such as the BMI? Are you still at liberty to say this is my recommendation?
Well, it's not going to be based on your BMI. It's going to be if it's a health risk for you or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did somebody else have somebody else? Yes.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about instant gratification, and it made me think about something. I think what's occurring in dating right now is that men and women are trying to find shortcuts to fulfillment.
Yes.
And I think, on the masculine side, it's money and success and status and power. And I think a lot of times men view that as a way to hack the system
Yep.
or get past the work that they need to do in order to become an interesting man, in order to be a strong man, in order to have a personality, in order to be someone that's going to engender good conversation and good relationships. On the female side, on the feminine side, you see women spending a lot of time and energy on their beauty
Yes.
and the physical attributes that will attract them, because we're visual creatures,
course.
right? So I think people are, seeking that instant gratification, like you said, by trying to hack the system,
Yeah.
using these external things in order to make themselves seem more interesting or seem like they're
Right.
worthy of a spouse or a date, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you can't take shortcuts. You can't hack the system, because eventually people will get to know you, they'll find out you're an empty vessel, and they'll move on to the next person. So
I would agree with that. I do have a rebuttal on that though. I do believe that you can hack the system, but if you hack the system, you actually have to be consistent with keeping it up. If you don't, then what happens is you become a statistic as to what you just mentioned. So I'm an advocate for plastic surgery. I don't mind people that get plastic surgery. I've had plastic surgery. I think that when you alter who you are and you change your well-being to be someone that you are completely not, I think that is a form of mental illness. Okay, and I'll use the word illness because it is. I think that some people frown upon some people frown upon surgery because maybe they just can't afford to get it. and they look, they frown upon it. Or they may just say, well, you're taking a shortcut and you're doing this and you're doing that. But what if a person has a child and they have this stubborn fat that does not go away? I don't care what anybody says. A doctor, a medical physician can tell you, this is dead skin. This is just dead. Your body was stretched and it was brought back, and there's nothing you can do. You can work out every day and you can have a six-pack with hanging skin, right? So for that woman, she should feel empowered to be able to go get cosmetic surgery, to give her a mommy makeover, to give her the confidence that she wants and that she needs to continue to fulfill this one life that she has.
Yeah. So Carly, I agree with you. I'm gonna address what Carly just said. So I agree with you. And what I'm talking about is not that person. I'm talking about the person who wants to eat crap, who doesn't want to exercise, who doesn't want to do anything to take care of themselves, but wants to lean on the instant gratification of just going to get surgery instead. So what I'm saying is that it's important to make the changes within yourself, to sit and be a little uncomfortable during the process to get what you want. It's hard to change your diet for some people. It's hard to work out and lose weight for some people, right? So the mommy makeover, I totally get that. But if you just want surgery so that you can look like you're healthy, that's a problem for me, and it's a problem for you.
It's a problem. I totally agree with that, because I think the biggest pet peeve I had, and I think we're past like this phase of social media where we would see these women probably a couple years ago. I want to say maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. These women would go and get surgery and go work out, and then sell these workout videos as if they created this body, this freaking 60-inch ass and 19-inch waist from doing squats.
For 5 minutes on camera.
Right? Yeah. And so, and if you want to get a body like me, and you can do this trim spa, and you could do this, and you could do this, and all the teas and all that fun stuff. The teas work, I will tell you. However, the 60-inch ass is not going to work in the gym. If your body doesn't do it, your body just won't do it. Right. So to your point in the back, definitely, and I appreciate you for validating that. To your point, it's the consistency. If you're in the gym and you're working out, yes, some people just don't want to fucking do it.
Yeah. But your body really needs to move. And again, I always go back to living a healthy lifestyle for your mind, because it's very, very important, And so to address the person in the back, I wasn't talking about sacrificing your future self or your future life for now. I'm saying sacrifice the discomfort, because every time you do something and you get an instant gratification, your brain is going to resist every time you have to wait, and you're not going to have patience.
So I would agree with that.
I was going to say another part to that is that a lot of times with new technology and access to things, people are making choices and decisions that they don't know the full ramifications.
Yes.
And so you might just go get that BBL or the surgery, but not know what that's going to do to your mental health.
Correct.
Perception of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And then what happens is that you felt like you were hacking the system or taking a shortcut, but you then put yourself into a situation where you now have solved one problem, but have introduced a bunch of other problems.
I love that. And to just kind of like veg you back off of that, what I would love to say is we do the same thing in relationships. We think that we can get into that situationship and we don't know the ramifications of how it's going to affect us in 6 months.
Yes.
And now our mind is all messed up. Our hormones are all jacked up and imbalanced. We can't sleep. We can't eat. We're not functioning the way that we should be, because we didn't want to wait on a man that was just ours.
And that wasn't just giving us money and giving us gifts just to pacify us. And then 6 months later, you have all these bags and all this fun stuff, but you're dead inside.
Empty. Yes.
So I will say, I do agree with the fact that, like I mentioned, and I stand on it, I do support I do support cosmetic surgery. I do. I think that you should get cosmetic surgery for you, not for what you see on social media. I don't believe that you should say, you know what, I see, Delicious, this ass is huge, I'm going to go get that and expect to have that same type of effect. However, I will say there's a lot of instant gratification going to get a BBL. And a woman will go have a regular life, go get an ass, her whole life will change. So we are living in a very instant world that gets us instant fame, insta famous, that gets us insta, money, that gets us instant gratification, that gets us an instant man or somebody else's man. And, it's just the space that we live in. We are in an insta space. You know, I could call my boss and say, I need this now. And he's just like, oh, okay, I'll get it. Can you give me? Back in the day, it was, give me a week, give me 2 weeks to look at it. But nowadays it's, I need it now because the client needs it now. Everything is just, I need it now because life and work and bodies and everything, we're in such an instant society. So the question really becomes, and this is for everyone, how do we combat living in an instant lifestyle? How do we slow things down and truly live at the pace of life? If we really think about it, COVID was what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? We literally lost 3 years of our lives. Like staying in the house for 3 years, you know, trying to get back to, I mean, they can't even get us back into the office.
No.
We're just like, we're not going back into the office, not never. You know, and if you try to get us back into the office, we're quitting.
Well, I think it's recognizing that you are a part of quick fix thinking and knowing that you're a part of it. So if you don't
You're a part
recognize
of
it,
it.
then you're just going to be walking along the pathway mindlessly, literally,
Yeah.
and not understanding like what's happening and why you don't have
You
the
know,
results in your life that you actually
I would agree with
want,
that.
like inside that you want.
I would agree with that, but I do believe that we are able to live in this Insta world, but also have control
Yes,
of living
we are.
in this Insta
but
world.
only if you have information. There's certain information that
Inte-
you need in order to
knowledge.
be able to know. Right.
Yes.
No, knowledge. Like,
Yes.
exactly.
So you need knowledge. To live in this Insta world, you need knowledge.
Yeah.
Anthony,
What's up?
how are you?
I'm feeling great, man.
Yeah? You feeling good?
Tequila.
We are on Casamigos tonight. We got what size is that bottle?
Ooh, I want to say it's a liter. Is it a liter? It's a liter.
It's a liter?
Yeah, it's
We
a
on a
liter.
liter of Casamigos. We are
Yeah.
lit. We are having good times and great conversations.
Mm.
Ooh, take another sip for the gram.
It's one for Tanisha because
Oh!
she come with the energy. I already know what time it is.
So what you got on your mind? What's on your mind tonight? What you want to talk about?
Let's have an honest conversation.
I want to talk about honesty.
If I'm talking to you as somebody that I'm dating,
Yes.
or somebody I'm interested in,
Yes.
do you feel like just knowing the atmosphere of women right now, is it easy for guys to communicate to women without it being looked upon the wrong way?
It depends on how you're communicating and how you're coming at me.
Give me an example of how you would want a guy to communicate.
I
with
would
you.
want a man to come and at me respectfully. I want him to treat me like a lady. I don't want it to be manufactured though, because oftentimes guys come with that manufactured care. It's kind of like the fake woke. They just kind of pretend to be a gentleman. I want it to be authentic. I want us to have a good time. I want it to be a good vibe. I want him to do his research on me, to know some of the things that I enjoy, so that when we do get together, he's accommodating. And so what that's going to do in turn for me is that's going to make me want to accommodate him. So then it becomes a give and take, a take and give, a dance type of situation. And then everybody becomes fulfilled.
Okay.
I know that was fully loaded, but I had to let you know.
I think that was a great answer, but it's not an answer.
It's a real answer.
I think it's not real. You know why I think it's not real?
Why?
A lot of times us fellas, we find ourselves in a predicament where we ask or we do something and automatically we get judged for it.
So I don't necessarily believe that's true. I think that there's a level of communication that needs to be had. And if you know the person that you're dating and that you're trying to pursue, you're studying them, like you know how to approach them.
I think that's a cop-out.
In what regard?
So let's say me and you are talking, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that mentally you're thinking, I don't want to have sex. Let's go back to the last conversation you had, right? How do I tell you that I want sex without me sounding like I am a red flag to you?
So this is what I want you to do. I'm glad you asked me that question. I'm going to set you brothers up. And then I'm going to put my Zelle so y'all can cash at me or Zelle me with the invoice, because this is real game, okay? So listen up. So what you do is you sit with a woman at a nice dinner. You have a bottle of wine or you have a glass of wine or you have a cocktail. Either way, you're setting the mood. You're being intentional, okay? You're letting this woman know, hey, this is where I am in my life. I am looking to pursue a serious relationship. I have played, I have been a player, I've been played. But at this point in my life, I want something real, okay? If that is not what you're looking for, then I understand. My question to you is that something that you're looking for? If she says yes, you proceed, okay?
We're dancing.
So,
We're dancing.
you said what?
We're dancing.
What?
Can I say something?
What's up?
Okay. So you know how people say that the issue with dating is that we're dating people's representatives? So I think the fact that you were like, you don't want to be seen as a red flag. No, you're establishing what your standards are.
Hello.
So if your standard is sex and my standard is I'm not ready for sex, that needs to be communicated. And if you are a
Correct.
red flag, that means that we're not a good fit. But it's like we're trying to fit a square into a triangle. Just say it. You don't have to be on the first date. I want to have sex. I was going to say F you. I want to have sex with you. Let's do it right now. But these are conversations that you can have even before the first date even happens. And then you guys aren't wasting your time. You're not wasting your money.
Yes.
You're not wasting your makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn
those
right.
are things that you can hash out
Not my
very early
perfume.
on.
She's absolutely, and I 100% agree. Are you speaking from a space of an intentional man if you're trying to talk to me?
All right, so
Are you speaking from an intentional man, or are you just trying to date?
we are loading up the question here, and we're dancing. If we just met and we're getting to know each other,
Okay.
we're all going off of perception.
Okay.
Nobody knows anybody's intentions at this point in time. We can vocalize what we might want. But at the
Okay.
end of the day, you're not telling me that you have a 30-day or 60-day notice. I'm not telling you whether I just want to have sex with you or I'm interested in you. We're getting to know each other.
However, during the get to know stage, it is so crucial, and this is where I think people miss the component. You have to tell people what your intentions are. You have to say straight up out the rip, if I am intentional, if I just want to have sex and you're telling me that you're intentional, I'm going to tell you, well, I'm not ready. And that's your cue to know that I'm not that girl. I'm not what you're looking for. So you need to either pursue someone else or wait until I'm ready.
Can I put you in a hot seat?
Put me in a hot seat.
When was the last time you went on a date and you told a guy you're not ready for 30 days or you're not figuring out for 30
First
days?
off and foremost, I'm not going to tell a man that I'm not ready in 30 days.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this man know at this point in my life, I have dated and I'm looking for something real. I want a life
We're
partner.
dancing now.
No, we're not dancing. We're being
dancing.
honest. We're being
Okay.
honest.
No. We're okay. So this is why I feel like we're dancing.
Why?
We are talking about certain things that might trigger either party, right? Guy or girl.
Okay.
For a guy, it might be I'm looking for financial, blah blah. It might trigger a guy, right?
Okay.
And for a girl, we might not want somebody who just wants us for our body, right?
Okay.
But we're not gonna show our cards and say, he doesn't want me for my body, so I'm checking that off. We're not gonna expose that card because we're mentally trying to make sure that we're not being used or taken advantage of, right?
Right.
So at this point, both of us are playing games.
No. So would you prefer someone for you not to know, or would you prefer someone to tell you what their intentions are?
Okay, my original question was how does a guy explain that to a woman if he's trying to be transparent?
Right.
Like, okay, I do like you, but I'm not interested in a game of 60 days, blah blah. But I do like you, and I also want to have sex with you. But genuinely, I do like you. How can a guy?
So if a man
vocalize
tells
that?
me, so as I was telling you, it's about, like I mentioned, intention. If you tell someone what your intentions are, I have the intention on having a life partner. These are the things that I want to do with this person. Is that you? Yes, it is me. I want a life partner too. So now you guys have come to an agreement and an understanding that both of you want a life partnership. Both of you want the same things at the first level of communication. So then you start to dig a little deeper and say, so tell me, what are some of the requirements that you expect in a person that's pursuing you? And then what happens is that person tells you, well, I expect a man to court me. I expect us to spend time together. I expect us, and then you say, okay, well, this is what I expect. So what you're doing is you're having a gentle banter back and forth, fair, about what you want. This is maturity. Right? And so the things that you don't agree with, what you do is you say, well, there was something that you did say. I don't feel like I have a whole lot of time because of my work profession. So how would you feel if I decided, you know what, maybe I can't see you 5 days a week, maybe I can see you 3. Are you okay with that? Yes, I'm okay. So what you're doing is you're compromising already and understanding, is this a person that I can continue with? And then as you continue, while we're being transparent and honest, I'm a very sexual person. I like to have sex on a regular. How do you feel about sex? Oh, well, I'm a very sexual person. Okay, so in that sexual realm, do you feel like you need to know somebody 100%? for 90 days, or do you feel like you need to, it's a vibe? So this is a part of getting to know people. People will tell you what the fuck it is.
I agree with you to a certain extent, right?
Tell me.
So,
Do y'all agree?
No.
I personally agree.
Where y'all live at?
like people,
Thank you,
and
Tony.
I think
The moment
saying
you start
this
having-
because I think women go with an idea that sounds good, it plays out good in their head, but when we put it to paper and actual actions,
No.
that's not what happens.
These
Yeah,
are
and
my
a lot of the times-
experiences.
I gotta
And
agree
the reason
with.
why I was asking those
I gotta
questions
agree
is
with
like,
Anthony there.
Let's keep it real. Like, if we want to keep it real, we keep it real.
It's
a lot of the
100%
times,
lies.
No, it's not. That's not what.
Who's in the back?
See, this is
State yourself.
this is Tokes. You
What's
can
up?
tell my voice. But what he's saying is that a lot of times when you over have some conversations, it just ruins the whole
No,
vibe.
it doesn't. Those are
does.
people that want games. You want
It's
to
not-
live in
it's
the
not people-
balance so you can do whatever you want
No,
and then not have
that's not what it is.
accountability.
It's not that people want games. What it is that people have the expectations that you're able to read cues, you're able to read vibes.
So that's why you have a
and understand-
conversation.
No, but when you start having the conversation about, oh, so are you the type of person that waits
You're
for
getting
60
to
days
know
or
the
90
person.
days? Nah, things have to kind of either come out naturally through a natural course of conversation.
No, you
and
know
then,
what-
And then you use those natural courses of conversation to come to your own conclusions.
Yep.
But trying to get people to have explicit
down.
conversations where it's totally upfront, like, what are your expectations? What are your expectations?
Let me tell
it
you
never
this.
really goes
So
well.
I appreciate that. Let me say this.
We just
Okay,
started.
that was a very nice point. You seem very confident with that.
Very confident.
But I'm gonna tell you, if you do not ask questions in this dating arena, you will set yourself up to be hurt, played, and taken advantage of. I want to know if I'm. No, you don't need the mic. She's got it. If I am stating myself, I would rather a man be transparent, honest with me, and have a transparent and honest conversation with me about sex, about his expectations, then play the pity pat jacket in the moonlight game of not knowing, well, is he out with somebody? What is it? There's a lot, when we're women dating in this arena, there's a lot of unknown. We go into a lot of anxiety dating. We don't know if
Can
you're
we stop
dealing.
that? Hold on. Can we
Can
stop that? That's victimizing, by the way.
That is
That's
not
that's
this is
victimizing,
real.
by the way. That's
This is real.
victimizing. Let's keep it. We can. I
Can
want to address that
finish?
after this comment.
Can I finish?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead. No,
okay.
I'm sorry. Let her finish.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna be done with it. But I just feel like we have a lot of anxiety with dating, and I think that it's fair for us to properly communicate how we feel so that people are able to receive us. I don't want my guy to be in the unknown. Somebody that I want to be serious with, I want to tell him, I'm not dating anybody. I want to be serious. I like you. Let's just try it and see what happens. If he's scared off by that, go fuck with somebody that want to play games, because it ain't me. Tynesha.
I agree, and I'm just gonna play. I'm not coming for anybody, but I think
Come
we've
for
all
him,
kind of
because you know you
said
want
All
to.
the
how we
smoke.
have frustrations about how our dating experiences are. And my
Yes.
perspective is that if you want different results, you have to do things differently.
Hello.
I have been in that situation where I'm just gonna let things, happen naturally, go with the flow, and then I end up getting hurt in the end because I was
Right.
on one page, I was on page 10, and they were on page -2.
Right.
The best connection that I have ever been in, we was like, cut the bullshit straight up. What's your thoughts on this? This is my thought on this.
Yes.
And it developed a sense of trust between the two of us, but we
Yes.
respected one another as friends.
Yes.
And I think that if you can really, I'm looking at you for who you are. I'm not looking at you as an expectation, an idea of who I want you to be and where this is going.
Yes.
I am looking at you literally and accepting you for who you are. Those transparent discussions come along. And when that happens, that intimacy, sex, the things that you're looking for, that's going to flow naturally.
Yes.
She's not going to be on guard with you because she's not unknown. She's not uncertain.
Hello.
So I disagree with that. I've lived it. I've been on both sides of the fence. And I
Yes.
feel like when you are confident within yourself, you know what your standards are.
Yes.
You're not afraid that you're going to chase people away for vocalizing what you want. You're not uncertain about having these discussions. You don't feel like you have to dance around that. To me is nonsense, and to me that sounds like it's a sign of a person who does not know how to communicate.
Or just wants to play around until they feel comfortable.
I have mass stuff to say to everybody, so let's not think this is a W for y'all.
No. This is good.
Just so y'all know.
No, this is fine. Okay, Vaguru.
Thank you. So I agree with Carly I also agree with you, and I agree with you. I've been on both sides of the fence, and then I jumped back over the fence again just to check.
We saw this all at one time.
So what I'm saying is that what you're saying is true. I think it's very important to have the transparent conversations, but you also have to be mindful of who you may be having the conversation with, okay? Because there are people that have intentions on listening to everything you have to say so they can mirror you and be exactly who you want them to be, so they can get exactly what they want. So it's no different than them going on the internet and figuring out the cheat code so they can beat the game.
That's fair.
So for me, I want to have authentic conversations with you. I want us to get to know each other.
Yes.
I want to know how you feel about certain things. I have a lot of intuition and discernment.
Yes.
That's what we have to use to figure out how we want to move with these men
Yep.
and these women.
Yes.
Because you can sit here in my face all day long and say all the right things, and I can be sitting here the one who's being very honest and transparent with you.
Come on.
And then you play me for 3 months, and I find out who you really are because I gave you my whole hand.
You were
So
transparent.
So we have to be mindful about how much information we're giving people, because it sounds to me like in your situation, you were
Tanisha,
talking
yep.
to a stand-up person, an honest person, a good guy.
Yeah.
But we have to be mindful that everybody's not like that and everybody's not thinking that way. There are people who are really out there with the intention on playing games with you. And it's attractive for them to say, ooh, this one's kind of like a challenge. I'm going to like see how far I can get with her.
Right.
And make it seem like I really want the same things that she wants. And I
I
don't.
would agree with that.
Do you feel like your intuition and your discernment wouldn't see through that though, like by the way they respond?
Yeah,
or
so here's the
Yeah.
thing. A lot of times we have to be mindful again, and that's why I talked about instant gratification. When you want something so much and you don't want to wait, you're seeing something that may not be there.
That's true.
I got a question.
Okay.
Couple of questions.
Okay, let's go.
Tanisha, the person that was a good person that was being
Tanisha.
transparent with you,
Yep.
are y'all together?
She needs the mic.
Next. Now you.
She needs the
Like,
mic.
what are you saying
Speak
here?
on my relationship.
No, I'm not.
status.
No. We're not speaking. We're not making a.
Me and the person who had that connection, we're very much fine today. Thank you very much.
So you guys are together.
Thank you very much.
Are you guys together?
Thank you very much.
Are you guys together?
Thank you very much.
No, don't be ugly.
I'm not. No.
Don't be
okay,
ugly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So,
Well, the point that I'm trying to get across is not. I love Tanisha. You know I love you. The point I'm trying
We're
to
a
get across
family.
is that, like, I think a lot of times there's a lot of misconceptions that women run with, and they think it's right. The truth of the matter is, when you get into the dating world, you're gonna take L's.
yes, naturally.
That's just. I've heard. Oh my God, God's gonna tell me when my loved one's gonna be. I've heard my discernment. Everybody.
I know, that was like
No,
a
I'm saying what I've heard.
not
is-
a woman.
I've heard so many different things that at the end of the day, you know what's common? They all take L's. Even guys take L's.
We all take L's because we're not living in and we're not dating in a perfect space. We're probably dating in one of the most
It's not even that,
cumbersome-
Carly. It's the dating game
Oh, hi,
is a
Trav.
losing game. You only win once, really.
No,
if you
you
think
don't,
about
Trav.
it, you win when you end up with that
No.
person that you're going to be
And
with.
that's the
until
awkward
your-
reality that
until
I'm
you get
trying to be
deleted.
transparent
Until your
about.
shit over
I'm not
with.
saying that like I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying. I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying. What I'm trying to be honest about is when you are talking to somebody, let me be real. Y'all could be perfect for 10 years and it might not work out. Y'all could be perfect for 2
Of
years and it might not
course,
work
that's
out.
anything.
But when you start adding your own curveball, be like, yo, I'm gonna do this for 60 days, or I'm gonna do this for 30 days, or I'm gonna use my discernment. You think that people who it hasn't worked, that hasn't tried that?
So this is the thing.
And I think
I'm sorry. So I will say, like, it seems like this is about some sex.
Yeah, that's
What are you waiting for 30 days for?
Right, what are
Because-
we talking about? That's
Because
most guys.
I think that we
Who
were
doesn't
clear.
want
I
sex?
think we were very
That's
clear.
most guys. Who doesn't want sex?
I think we were very clear.
Man, you better go and sample this now.
Like who doesn't want sex?
First
Like,
off,
me
you have to
go- let-
remember.
let me-
you
let
have
me-
to remember.
Let
as
me
women,
show you what it is.
Hold on. So
You
as
know what I'm saying?
women,
You don't like it in there.
Let me go and show
so
you what
as
this
women,
is
you
right
guys have
now.
to hold on. You guys have to remember. We don't want to wait that long to test out the merchandise either. I don't want to invest all this time to find out that you're a minute man, or you just can't even get it up or whatever else. Because I mean, let's just be quite honest here. Men do have erectile issues.
30s and 40s.
Okay, they do have to go to the gas station to get that honey. So So my thing is, I said it.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I did.
And that should be okay though, because guess what? That honey helped him get to where he needs to be.
I don't know nothing about
You know what I'm
this.
saying?
I don't
The honey will
know
help
nothing
him
like
get to the honey.
this.
You
I don't
know what I'm
know
saying?
nothing
So-
about this.
So don't knock that. He might have a headache.
That's wild. That is wild.
Trey, don't say that no more, Trey.
Why not?
Wow. But go ahead.
Trey, we gonna talk about this tomorrow.
So I was gonna say two things. What I'm hearing in the conversation, there's something, beneath the surface that I think I'm hearing, is one, women are dating men they're not really attracted to. And I don't know what the reasons are, and I don't know what's driving that behavior. And then two, men are trying to acquire women that may either be out of their league
Hello.
or that they're just not ready for.
Hello.
Right? But why are people settling, either consciously or subconsciously? Because the men are settling because they know it's not going to lead anywhere, but the women are also settling because
The supply.
the whole waiting for sex thing is a myth. When people are really attracted to each other, they're going to try to figure
He's
it
on to
out
something. He's on to
as
something,
quickly
guys.
as possible. And I'll speak as a man. When you really like a woman, you don't think about sex. You do, but what I'm getting at is
I was about to say, you lost me on that one.
What I'm getting at is
You're not pushing it.
It's not the primary thought, right?
Right.
Like you're interested in that person because if you hold them in high esteem, you see a relationship with that woman, and in the back of your mind, if you know she's attracted to you, you know the sex is coming. So
Oof,
if
and
you
it's gonna
know
be good.
if you know you're gonna get something, you're not as pressed about getting
Yes.
it versus trying to acquire something. Because if you're trying to get it, subconsciously you're signaling to yourself and the woman, you're out of my league, so I'm gonna try to steal something.
Ooh,
I
who
agree.
is this
You know
brother?
what? I agree with you. Now, okay,
Yes.
now we're having a conversation, right? I agree with you. We both acknowledge two things.
Yeah.
Sex is a factor in us.
Well,
we,
yeah.
we both acknowledge that. Now let's move forward.
Well, we got more
For,
comments.
for a lot of, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Before I answer that question.
So let me piggyback sort of what you're saying. So I agree that first off, you definitely will make a connection with the female if the
A woman.
synergy is there, and you actually will not have to go and press to try to get them to have sex. If they're into you, they will definitely
Yes, naturally.
naturally
Can't wait.
do that. It's excited
Rip
about
me
it.
out the plastic.
They're just like us. They really are. But I think when you're the only thing I have I guess the guys that listen to the show and who probably vibes with what I'm about to say is the whole idea of having to try to impress someone and not be honest is definitely it's like a simp. It's like a person that's afraid to really share and be honest. Being honest and being confident in yourself is a turn on to women, and that's something you should always want to do.
Thank you. I like that. Very
All right,
nice.
So let me answer his.
D's.
I agree with what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think the moment that I agree with you is when we both establish two things. Sex is a factor. And yes, I'm not saying as a guy chase sex. What I'm saying is that if you can't even acknowledge that, yo, this is a part of it, it's the first problem for me as a guy. Second thing is that, okay, cool. I do like you. Genuinely, I do like you. I'm going to be sexually attracted to you. That's
Right.
just, and vice versa. And I have this rule where everybody has a rule until they meet somebody that they like or they love.
That's
Then
fair.
the rules flies out the window.
That's fair.
Now, the point that I'm driving home is this. If you know I genuinely like you and I have been showing that.
Right.
And you keep playing this idea of 30, 60 days, it don't even have to be sex. For a lot of guys, I can't speak for everybody, I'm already registering as you playing games. Even though I do like you, I'm little by little chipping off. Now, I'm either going to waste my time and still, wait for the end and say, you know what, I didn't put in 30 days to not get nothing out of it and play along for that 30 days and while I'm already checking out to another woman. Or B, I'm going to say, you know what, I actually did like you. But because you are playing games, you're now weaponizing sexual things. What stops you from doing that when we're fighting in an actual relationship?
I'm
Can I
going to tell
say
you.
something?
I'm going to
Okay.
tell you this. I totally agree. As women, I will say we do weaponize sex. We use it as a weapon because we know you want it so bad. We know how to.
Thank you for confessing it.
No, and
That's exactly.
but I wasn't
Thank you.
done. But I wasn't done.
Thank you.
But I wasn't done. However, what you have to understand is because it's the power of the pussy. It's the power of the pee. We hold the key. And it is what it is. You guys hold the security and all that fun stuff and the financial and all that, and we hold what you really want. It's a man's world, but it wouldn't be anything without a woman. But this is the thing. If you are actually dating someone, you have to communicate. This is how I feel. If you in your right being feel like you cannot continue to hold this or rub this out while you are attracted to this woman, you feel the vibe and everything else, then you have to make an executive decision in yourself. This is something I cannot do.
Can I
And
add
you
on
have to
that?
move on from
I
it.
agree with you, but that's also how women also lose good men.
I would agree.
'Cause
But
at
if you
some
can't
point-
tell them, if they're not feeling it in their body to give you their body, you can't be mad at them.
It's not about that. It's not about that. And I think we're flipping it. If I like you and you like, let's keep it very simple. If I
Yeah.
like you and you like me, why can't we just like each other?
Hello.
Why can't we just
I'm
keep it
fine
simple?
with that.
Does that make sense? Why do we have to add on this so-called steps because you want to feel validated in the shit that you've created in your head?
Because society, I'm going to
Because
tell
at
you,
some point in time, I'm not
society
saying
has
this-
put us in that
No,
space.
society is not. We are. It's hard for men to speak on it because it gets frowned on, or women don't keep it honest when we're addressing it. Like for example, we did all of this for you to say what you just said.
I mean, but it's the truth. We're being honest. This is a
Now-
safe
no,
space.
This is between, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I feel like society hasn't mentally gotten to that point to accept the fact of this is reality. And if I like you and you like me, like playground puppy love.
Yeah, that ain't
What's-
real. That's not reality.
Can I please say something?
Tanisha.
What's
Just a
up?
different angle. Okay,
What's
yes,
up?
I agree, right? If I like you, you like me, we know we both like sex, but she's hesitant somewhere. There's a disconnect.
Right.
I think this goes back to what I was saying about really truly getting to know the person. Ask her why. Like, yes, some women will weaponize sex. There's some women walking around with some severe sexual traumas. They might have had really bad experiences with men. They're on guard. They want to have sex with you. They're nervous. They think you're going to pull away.
Right.
Ask her about that. And if you create that safe space for her to be able to talk to you about that, I guarantee you she's going to be more comfortable. Just like if I notice that you and I are having certain conversations, and I notice that we might talk about parents, family, and you pull back emotionally. And I'm like, hey, I noticed something there. Like, talk to me about that. That is
Right.
intimacy. And I just don't understand why, like, a lot of men will get frustrated, like, oh, well, she won't give me no sex, so I'm either going to use her or go on to the next one. Talk about it. Why is
I
that
would agree.
communication not there?
I agree with you. The problem is women move the goalposts. Just earlier, 30 minutes ago, you sat here
Do
and
you
said,
ask
if
her?
you, hold on. You sat here and said, if you are dealing with certain things that you haven't healed from, then you're not ready to date.
I
then
agree.
what you
Now,
have to
if
do
you
is,
hold on, if
Yes.
you as a woman are going through some trauma that you have, I'm not trying to like minimize it.
That's fair.
But if you are going through trauma, then you honestly are not ready to date.
So-
Don't put
Yes.
another man through that
And
trauma
I
because
agree.
you're not ready.
100%
But the
agree.
problem is we've already at the point where I'm already paying for dinner for me to figure this
But we
out.
don't.
You should have checked that before you.
No,
let
no,
me
no,
know.
listen.
This
that
is
you
goes
have to
back to what
remember.
Am I
Carly
tripping
was
here?
saying. You have to vet.
You have to have a conversation.
Yes.
And you have to.
Questions.
And you didn't want to have that conversation. Remember?
No,
you
no,
didn't
I
want to
think-
get deep into conversation.
No. I think y'all missed my point. If you personally actually took accountability to realize that you haven't personally healed, we should not have gotten to the point of even going to the dinner.
So I have a question.
My point is, check that before you leave your door.
That's
before I
fair.
even start spending money, because now a lot of guys start feeling like now you're wasting my time,
Okay.
knowing that you haven't checked yourself.
But you also have, so that's fair. And I agree with that 100%. I think it goes both ways.
I agree.
So this goes back to what I said initially. When and Tokes Ogun mentioned this in the back. He's like, I don't agree with that. I feel like it's too much conversation initially. he was very confident about that statement. You have to have a conversation. I need to know. I'm interested in a relationship. I want something real. I want to be intentional. I want to have sex. I want to travel. I want to do all these things, but I want to get to know you. But you getting to know me means that us getting in a vulnerable space. I want to be vulnerable. Can I be vulnerable with you? Because you can be vulnerable with me. That is the space that we need to get in as a society.
I agree with you, Carly. I think we haven't even gotten to that step yet as a society. I think
Yeah, okay,
that
that's fair.
Before we even have that conversation, the conversation of accountability, like what you were saying earlier, you kind of have to take a step back and actually evaluate yourself after a relationship.
Yeah.
It can't be
Yes.
every nigga ain't shit. At some point in
It's
time,
you, baby.
you have to like, okay, this happened. What role did I play in that? Before me and you can have a conversation, if you can't acknowledge that, what conversation we having? Because at that point in time, it's what you see on social media of guys and girls going back and forth. You
So
start
I'm
realizing
assuming
it's
that
on-
when we're having this I'm assuming based off of the laws of attraction and the men that God is bringing in my life, you have already been healed and you've already worked through those traumas, okay? And so at this point, we're having a very transparent conversation. So I'm going to ask you, I don't mind asking a man that I'm giving my space and my time to, which is very far in between, right? So if you're able to get through all of getting to know me, to be able to sit down and have a intimate conversation about dating, then you've already been essentially vetted, okay? So at this point, we're sitting down and I'm telling you, I'm healed. I've done all this work on myself. I have a therapist. I do this. This is what I do. You already are knowing, like Tynesha said, we already having conversations over the phone to know what space that we're in. So by the time we sit down and we're vulnerable with each other, we've already gotten past that step. That's the step where people have to be vulnerable with each other and they have to say, these are some of my traumas. This is what I had. And as a woman, you have to allow this masculine man, this staple, this foundation to be able to be vulnerable to tell you how he feels.
I agree with you.
Without criticizing or ridiculing him. And that is the problem that we have in our community. We need to stand by each other. We need to be able to hold hands with each other. We need to be able to say, baby, it's okay. You can be vulnerable to me. Tokes Ogun, I knew it was you.
That's tough.
I knew
ain't
it was
gonna lie,
Tokes
that is
laughing
tough
in the back.
because that's
I
not
gotta
realistic.
laugh,
And-
come
But
on.
guess what?
That's not
I've been able
realistic
to
for-
do this. This is not something the storybook.
Okay, no.
I've been able to have successful, with well-to-do men that have cried in my arms, men that you would see that run companies that are able to be vulnerable enough. D knows one of them, that's able to be vulnerable enough that can buy this whole subdivision that's like, I am hurting inside. And I'm glad that I have a safe haven in you. That's the fucking woman you want to marry. That's the woman you want to create with, not the woman that's playing games or having sex with you on the first date or stringing you along, or you guys got to sit here and figure out, well, what is it? Where are we? Who are we? Or like Tynesha said, this woman has to sit there and wonder where she is in your life. You want to be vulnerable. This is what all of this is about.
I agree.
The fact that we cannot be vulnerable
I'll say
with each other.
part of the challenge in these conversations is that we're speaking in general, but you're dealing with specific people. So it's easy to say that, if you're not healed, you shouldn't be dating. But obviously, a lot of people don't do that. People might just be feeling away. Hey, he asked me out. He's cute.
I'm
Let me
hungry.
see.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Or hey, I really wanted to go to that concert, so I'm gonna go. So the expectation that people should just be upfront and honest. That's
Yeah.
just not how the world works.
So people need to.
Because what you get into sometimes is what people deal with in interviews, where when you're interviewing with somebody, of course I show up on time.
Of course.
Of course I'm responsible because you're asking me that, and I know that you're judging me on that.
Right.
And so that's why sometimes overly having the conversation,
Right.
you get into people kind of performing and giving the right answers because
Yes.
they know that's what you're looking for.
But it's like
so
what
what's your
Nika
job?
said.
What's your job to do is that through natural conversation, you have
Yeah.
to suss out what the person's actual intentions are without them communicating that, because they're going to give you the right answer that you want to hear, because that's what
Okay.
people do. And so that's why you kind of have to really more so pay attention and kind of let things play out, because not everybody's going to be upfront and honest.
No,
and just
that I
like
agree
and just
with.
like she was saying, is that the other flip side of that is that when people are upfront and honest, people use that information against those people, which is why people don't do that.
Right.
It's not about being so we have to understand being upfront and forward is not, and being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. If I'm communicating with you, I will tell you there's been men that I've communicated with. I've been very transparent on what my expectations are, and they've just told me, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not there.
Okay, you know what?
And I respect that. And these are men that can play games, attractive men that got all the bells and whistles that all the women want, And they just say, you know what? I'm not even going to fuck with you like that because I realize all the work you've done on yourself. I would never want to be responsible for hurting you. So I want to be your friend because I want you to be a part of my life, but I can't be your man because I'm not even there. And I respect that. That's vulnerability, but that's also maturity. And I think that what we need to do is we need to realize we're dealing with a lot, but we're really dealing with maturity. I don't want to play the grab ass game to figure out and go on 5 dates. And then on the 5th date, you're like, I want to touch your butt and I want to kiss you and all this stuff. And I don't even know who you are. I do believe there needs to be a novelty and a portion of the getting to know and the transparency. There needs to be a nice balance of it. I don't believe, like Nika said, like the guru said, I don't believe that you should give your whole everything, but I do believe that you have to communicate. If you don't, you just get back in this cesspool and it's a vicious cycle of dating. The problem is we need to learn how to be vulnerable and know who we can be vulnerable with. You can't do it with everybody. You got to be able to know who you can and you can't. This chick got her freakum dress on and she looking like she hot and ready. Maybe she hot and ready. Maybe she's not ready to have that vulnerable conversation. Have a conversation with her. Use your discerning spirit, like the guru said, and be able to have that conversation.
So I think one of the things that we could talk about maybe next time or later is a lot of it comes down to strategy, right? Like everything in our lives revolves around some sort of strategy. What we work, where we work, what we do, our businesses, how we date. If we look at how the 1% date and how they get together, it's arranged and it's through networks, right? So in sales, we say a warm lead is worth 10 cold ones, right? So maybe we have to improve our dating strategy and start meeting people through people we know or places that we want to go. And I make a joke with my buddies. We say when we go out, invite only or ticketed events. Because we know the quality of people at those places are going to be different than what are you going to expect at a random bar or just a club or, you know, the turn up spot or whatever. So I think maybe strategy is something that we need to address in our dating because the quality of people we meet is a reflection of our lifestyle.
I would agree with that 100%. I love that.
With instant gratification, typically you're going to end up with lower quality product. I mean, it's just what happens.
Product,
So.
Everything's a product.
I'm nobody's freaking product, I'll tell you that. No. I'm just joking. So I will say I appreciate this conversation. This was very deep. You definitely got everybody engaged on this one, even Jack Pack in the back. So, so thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And you can find me, Cocktails with Carly, on Instagram at cocktailswithcarly_. You can also find the show page, Let's Talk Over Cocktails, on Instagram, and then of course on YouTube, where you can find the entire episode. Let's Talk Over Cocktails with Carly. Definitely like and subscribe. Shout out to the team in the back, Alicia, Trav. Phenomenal. Thank you so much for our vocals, our visuals, everything. Thank you so much for our guest coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed all the hors d'oeuvres and all this Casamigos and everything in few in between. Thank you so much. I like y'all. I love y'all. Bye.